You have this excellent education, yet you can't get a job because of the color of your skin, because of the lack of connections you were able to make. We want them to be able to take hold of it at an early age. So
Mommy, that
Breaking down those barriers on who makes it is one theme for finalist number 3. Deshawn Perry Smitherman, along with Erica Gibson, founded A Girl's Gift 5 years ago. A Girl's Gift links girls between the ages of 10 and 13 with adult mentors to help them with self-esteem and financial literacy. One way that's done is to help the girls develop business plans for fledgling enterprises that are free to handle, and then can give them a true taste of what it would be like, again, to make it in the real world. In the past, the matchup has been same race to same race. The new wrinkle?
We think that it's very important to match girls up with mentors. But one of the things that we haven't done was match girls up with mentors of a different race. It may seem a little scary at first to be around people who don't look like you, but once you start getting conversations going, then they see that there are so many commonalities that we all share, and they don't need to think about race as being an issue.
Diverse partnerships will be key to the project. The first of the year will bring a viewing and discussion with girls from Beth Elzetic of And Then They Came For Me, a Holocaust drama at the IRT.
They will also have a Jewish dinner together, a traditional Jewish dinner together, learn about their customs and their culture.
The first thing that caught my attention was the phrase, a competition on race. Casey could address an issue dealing with race. Why not in a competition?
Changing racial perceptions while promoting profitable career paths is also on the mind of finalist number 4. Pete Hilton, director of the IUPUI Motorsports Engineering Program, sees racing as a perfect metaphor.
Motorsports is a very team-oriented activity. A driver does not win a race on his own. And the motorsports teams are made up of very diverse individuals. We normally think of that in terms of diverse in skill set.
No, don't.
But there's no reason it can't be diverse in terms of cultural background as well.
The plan is to build several diverse teams of young people, led by students from both IUPUI School of Liberal Arts and the engineering program. At several public venues over several weeks, they'll be given a racing problem to solve, and, like any good driver, pit crew, and mechanic team, they'll be asked to find answers. The give and take between group members of different races and backgrounds will be on full display.
So 2 things will be happening at the same time. They'll be working in an interracial team where they can show their own skills, learn other people's skills and backgrounds, and prove to themselves
This part is not about mommy.
that they can work with a team.
This is not about
regardless
mommy.
of what the background of the individual members of that team. But you never know what's going to happen when you mix things in a cauldron, and that's really what we're going to do. So I'm not asking people to ignore racial or cultural background, certainly not to forget it, but to realize that it doesn't need to be a roadblock to success in working in a team with people of different cultures.
The project's loftier goal deals with Indiana's workforce, with a focus that might be a boon to the entire state.
We have a real shortage of minority
Hey.
students entering technical careers. I think the most unique piece of the project that I proposed is the tie to careers. Look down a different path that they've never seen before.
I want you to
And
stop.
in the end,
I want you
by
to stop.
diminishing
I want you to
the
stop.
racial unbalance in certain career fields to
I'm
better
trying to
that
record
field.
this for Miss
No matter
Erica.
the outcome, one thing is certain. Once
The
the
mommy.
conversation begins anew, Denicia, Pete, Deshawn, and Javier are
Mommy.
determined to keep the dialogue in play.
Mommy.
The number one thing is that we're saying
Mommy.
we're not going to talk about race behind closed doors.
Mommy.
Everybody has experienced something
Yup,
with race,
yup,
whether
yup,
you initiated or you
yup.
helped it or you perpetuated it or however you've engaged with it.
Yup.
We've all
Yup.
done something around the issue of
I
race
want you
and
to
racism.
stop,
And
please.
so now's the time to say,
Yup.
I'm going to face my fears.
The part of me being hopeful, maybe people are
Yup.
ready to have conversations
Yup.
that we haven't had in a long time, that
Yup.
we're trying to put away for next year, or for next time, for the next event. So
Yup.
hopefully that is the ultimate goal of this competition, to
Where's
start
that?
this conversation.
Where's that?
In a racially mixed school, how the African Americans sit with the African Americans, the whites sit with the whites, the Hispanics sit with the Hispanics, the Asians sit with the Asians. Everybody sits in their safe cultural zone. It's something that I see when I go out into the world. We want these girls to be brave. We want these girls to feel like they have a place at any table they go to.
You walk downtown, you see situations on one side of the street where you think everyone's behaving exactly as if color was irrelevant to the situation. Turn the corner and walk down a different street, you may see another scenario. I think we need to continue to address the differences. We have a long-standing history in this country that has to be overcome.
What I really look forward to is hopefully this will spark someone else to do something bigger or something bolder, and it just keep doing that rollover effect. So this is just the beginning to something much more outrageous than I could ever think of.
And maybe these innovative approaches could be the catalyst to keep venturing further out on that limb to create a true racial harmony. After all, to quote writer Alexander Smith, everything is sweetened by risk.
Felipe Martinez is one of the judges for this year's competition, and Sharon and I thought we'd get some perspective on what it was about these four presenters that caught Felipe's eye and why the overall topic of race was selected. Felipe, welcome to the Art of the Matter.
So I'm curious, why is talking about race risky? How does it fit with the theme of risk?
Well, I think that one of the things that the Spirit in Place Festival wants to do is to get people engaged with one another. And there's a little bit of, well, there's a lot of risk when we open our hearts, when we are vulnerable with each other in things that are very important. Race and conversations about race can have that that environment of risk, that environment.
You're gonna get a spanking. You're gonna get a spanking. Get down.
Vulnerable about one's feelings or one's perspective, and so the festival is trying to have us as a community think about things that might be risky, that might be leaps of faith, so to speak. And talking about race gives us the opportunity to sort of act out that possibility. What would it look like for us to move the dialogue forward when we delve deeper into the concept of race?
Felipe, in this risky conversation about race that the four competitors have brought their ideas to the table, and they'll be competing and finding out that night who wins the $20,000 prize. But to get to this point, there were actually a number of different groups and organizations that applied. Is that correct?
There were 43 applicants, both individual applicants and organizations applying. Of those, 11 became sort of our main first cut, and then from those 11, we interviewed them individually, and from there, 4 rose to the top, and they're the 4 that will be expressing their, or sharing their project that night on November 1st.
Can you share with us some of the things you were looking for when you narrowed it down to those top 4?
We wanted to make sure that there was good collaboration, not just with that individual or organization, but with other groups in the community. We wanted to make sure that there was really a delving into a new way to understand race or to talk about race, that it invited dialogue, that it invited civic conversation. And we wanted them to be original. We wanted them to try a new thing that will get the conversation going, but also the creative juices flowing in the community.
What are your hopes after the night of the award? Do you, for the audience that's both there or maybe following along digitally?
This is one of those cases where it's like the gift that keeps on giving, because not only will we come and listen to 4 great ideas, great projects, the conversation will start in that sense publicly then, but then over a year, as they implement this project, we will get to see them and follow them and connect with them, and then for some, in each one of the projects is different, to have a very public presentation of their connecting with the community and their findings and their challenges to us.
And it's certainly possible that even though one of these ideas is going to get the award, the other 3 may get support from other sources.
It would be great if it awoke the imagination of other folks that might want to be supportive of these ideas.
Excellent. Well, Felipe Martinez, thank you so much for coming on Art of the Matter, and best of luck with this project.
Thank you so much for your support.
Our next artist is a firm believer in the ability of art to change the way people look at an issue.
Okay, you don't have to watch it
Warrior
anymore.
is a painter and designer.